this is so beyond ridiculous. I gotta share it, and I'm gonna try my best to hold back on disrespecting or revealing anybody's personal information, because that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is for all of the believers. I'm not concerned about the people in the world. Let them have it. I'm talking about to the believers, because listen, there was this woman, right, who, I'm going to give you a little backdrop on the story so you can understand the significance of what just took place, right? So there was a woman who, when she was born, she was born with her intestines out of her stomach. She was born with a lot of things that would cause you to not be alive right now, right? But by God's grace, the doctor was able to patch her all up and send her on her way. This is as a baby, as a newborn, right? So she lived. she had some clear body what I'm trying to say, like body deformation. She had some mental illnesses, as far as just her brain wasn't developed properly or correctly all the way, stuff like that. But she was still very smart. She was still, like, she wasn't handicapped. I'll put it that way. She wasn't handicapped, but she had some issues, coming up, having to go to school and special classes and stuff like that. So she had, some issues. So fast forward, this woman gets violated. I'm gonna put it that way. She gets violated, sexually violated, right? So after that happens, or should I say, meanwhile, while that's happening, the environment is in her household is very chaotic. Her mother is on drugs. She's an alcoholic. Father is also on drugs and an alcoholic. And there is no stable living condition. They're always moving from place to place. And there is no support within her own family, because she has brothers and sisters, but they do not get along. And so it's very chaotic, and she came up in a very chaotic environment, all right? So to be fair on what I'm going to share, I want people to understand the significance of this situation, of her situation, and how she was feeling, and how she was living, and the things that were going on in her life, right? So she concluded that she hated God. She was like, this is where she was at in her life. I hate God because look the way I was born. You know what I'm saying? I'm not smart like everybody. I don't look like everybody. He allowed this horrible act to happen to me. How can there be a God if all this bad stuff is happening to me in my life, right? So she said that, she resolved in her heart that she's not going to believe in God, that there is no God, right? So technically she became an atheist, right? Cool, because of the free will. Everybody has free will. You can believe whatever you want or not believe nothing you want, right? But because of her upbringing, however, she was forced to go to church by her mother. She was forced to go to church and have Bible studies when she was in foster care. So she was forced to do a lot of stuff concerning the Bible. She even got baptized in the church. Okay. Now, meanwhile, the reason why I'm sharing this and her backstory is because meanwhile, no one knew. You know what I'm saying? Well, some people may have, but no one knew that she was feeling all this hatred and confusion in her heart and in her mind about God. So even though she was out there, she was, doing what the foster care made her do, talk about God, go out there, try to save souls. She did what her mother made her do, go to church, listen, and learn about God. In her heart, she really hated God. And this is according to her own words, and I quote, pure rage, end quote. So she had literally pure rage against God. Meanwhile, she was in the church. Meanwhile, she was, learning and studying. Meanwhile, she was out there trying to save souls. But in her heart, she had pure rage against God because of all what she considered to be injustices done to her through her life, all of the pain and anger and confusion and lack of understanding that she had in her life led her to the conclusion that there could not be a God because God is, look at my life. You know what I'm saying? So she hated him. And it just astounds me because that's just one point. That's typical, right? People do that. You know, that's why we have atheists. They hate God or they don't believe in God. They don't necessarily have to hate him. They just choose not to believe in him. Whatever, right? Cool. That's not the significance of this story. The significance of this story is not only did she take the position of I don't believe in God and I hate God, but she decided in purpose, literally, this is her words, in her heart to rebel against God. And she was going to do this by living the exact opposite of everything that she had learned when she was in foster care, everything she had learned when her mother made her go to church. She purposed and decided in her heart that I'm going to do literally everything the opposite. So she became a homosexual. She began to get tattoos. She began to get piercings in her tongue and in her ear. She was trying to make God angry and do everything possible to make God angry and hate her, and just because she hated him. Which again is confusing because how can you be mad at somebody that you claim you don't believe in? But that's besides the point. So then she took it a step further to say, I'm going to go to the church, right? I'm going to go to the church. I'm going to find members of the church that are men, and then I'm going to allure them away from the church. I'm going to allure them away using my sensual prowess and seducing spirits that control me. I'm going to lure them away from the church, have them commit the act of fornication with me, and to entrap them so that they don't worship God. Like her whole purpose became that, okay, I'm gonna infiltrate, because I'm not gonna tell anybody that I'm an atheist. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let them think and pretend that I am a Christian, just so I can find those who I see with my eye, my wicked eye, it has a love for God or that's trying to follow after God, and I'm gonna try to get to them so that I can pull them away so that they won't ever go to God or ever live their life for God, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was her motives, bro. Like, I don't, like, bro, the more, like, that's crazy that you would have people out here, if you're atheist, fine. But you pretend, literally, consciously to choose to pretend to be something that you're not, just so you can get someone not to worship their God. You don't want to try to make them not believe in God. You're not trying to make them become an atheist. You just simply don't want them worshiping God. And you feel like your mission is, if I can just get someone to simply not worship God or focus on God because they're too busy focusing on me, they're too busy committing sins with me, they're too busy living life with me, then you're happy. So happy that it shows through your through your body. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're literally getting turned on, like, and it makes you happy. Like, yo, man, be careful out here, yo. Try the spirits and make sure that you following God and stay in his safety zone, man, because there's some wickedness going on out here, yo. Some straight wickedness going on out here. Y'all be careful.